Hi guys, it's Katie with Burbs and Blooms again. You know I'm all about suburban gardening and composting. And the other day, as I was throwing stuff into my little composting container on my kitchen counter, I was reminded of when I was a little girl. I would visit my grandma on her farm in South Dakota, and she always had this bucket sitting in the sink, and we would always scrape everything into the bucket after dinner. So of course, it was the slop bucket, and the slop went out to the pigs. And I realized I kind of have my own slop bucket and my own pig in the backyard, and that is my compost bin. And just like those pigs on the farm, compost bins eat such a wide variety of things. So today, I am actually going to show you 5 things from the bathroom. Oh yeah, we're going there. Just wait for it. That you can and should be composting that maybe you had no idea. So you know I have tons of tips and tricks all about composting. I also love gardening. So please remember, subscribe, hit like, the thumbs up, and share this video with anybody who's trying to get started composting or trying to up their composting game. Okay, here I am, literally sitting, hanging out in my bathroom. You don't do this? You don't just camp out in the middle of your bathroom? No. Well, at least I have a good reason. You might be wondering just how weird this is gonna get. Okay, you've heard of composting toilets, right? Fair game? No, we're not gonna get that weird. I am actually all about composting regular old items that we would throw in the trash without even thinking twice. As for composting the rest of what's generated in the bathroom, ooh, that sounds bad. I'm gonna leave that to the water treatment department. The first item that you can compost from the bathroom is the ta-da, cotton swab. Now we all have heard that we're not supposed to stick these bad boys in our ears, but sometimes you just have that itch, right? And you can't get to it. Your pinky finger's too big to get in there, and you just have to use one of these guys. So if it has the paper shaft or cardboard or whatever this material is, it's not plastic, compost it, absolutely. But of course, use your judgment, right? If you just used it to take off nail polish, you don't want to throw that in your compost bin. But if you just cleaned out your ears like, totally cool. Those bugs in the compost bin will think that is a feast. Ew. Okay guys, next up, cotton balls. Of course you can compost cotton balls. They are an organically occurring material that breaks down in a compost bin. So again, use your judgment. Don't put something in the compost bin that's soaked in, nail polish remover. But you know what? If you just keep a cute little container sitting on your counter next to your sink, you can just drop stuff like this right in there. Over time, there will be a good amount of items that you have diverted from the landfill and literally recycled into usable compost. Next up, hairballs. I have a ton of hair, maybe you can tell. I also have 2 little girls. So between the 3 of us, we actually fill up our hairbrushes pretty quickly. When I was a kid, my mom always would tell me to throw the hair out on the lawn for the birds. I live in a newish neighborhood. We don't honestly have a lot of trees, which is a huge bummer. So I wouldn't throw hair out on the lawn because I think it probably would hang around for a while, but you can absolutely pull this stuff out of here and throw it in the compost bin. Plus, if you have pets, throw all that stuff in the compost bin and it will break down. Fantastic, right? Okay guys, I must be a mom. I am so not afraid of germs. I actually just went and dug this out of the garbage in my kid's bathroom because you know what's next that you can compost? Booger balls like this. With 3 kids at my house, there is no shortage of snot all the time. It is nasty. But think about how fast dirty, snotty Kleenexes accumulate when you have kids, or even you don't have kids and somebody is sick. Or for heaven's sake, you have kids and they're sick. All of those can be composted and diverted from the landfill. Now I know you might be thinking, yeah, but what's a dirty Kleenex? It just gets compressed and it gets smashed. It doesn't take up much space. That might be true, but that's not really the point, right? The point is to take something and turn it into something usable rather than letting it sit there forever. So gather those babies up, dump them in the compost bin instead of in your city trash can, and do yourself a favor. Ugh. So for my last item from the bathroom, I'm in a different bathroom. I'm in my kids' bathroom because this item that you can compost, you might be surprised at, or maybe you're not surprised, cotton washcloths. When these things get old and ratty and raggy, you can absolutely cut them up into small pieces, shred them, tear them, whatever you want to do. Take out your aggression on your washcloths and throw them in the compost bin. And I came in here because we're still using these little baby washcloths, and they're getting kind of like perma-stained, plus they're really thin. There's a tag on here that's sort of like a ribbon material that I probably would tear off because I'm guessing that's some kind of poly synthetic material and that won't break down. But yeah, my oldest child is 8 years old and we're still using these things. So pretty soon they're going to be probably headed to the recycle bin. And I know you can recycle textiles in various places, but I know I can also recycle really efficiently and quickly in my own backyard. So that's what I'm going to do for these. Now you know 5 things from the bathroom that can be composted at home in your home compost bin. But as you're watching this, you might be saying, well, this is all great, Katie, but I don't have a compost pile. And although I think that'd be really great, I don't really know how to start a compost pile. And what I have to say to you is no problema. I have a shirt that says that, no problema. It's adorable. Etsy. In just a minute, I'm going to put a link up on the screen to go to a beginner composting video. It walks you through the 3 basic steps for getting started. Or you do have a compost bin, but maybe you're feeling a little bit frustrated. Maybe you feel like you don't really know what you're doing. You're not feeling super confident with it. I have something for you too. Again, a link is going to pop up on the screen, and it's going to link you to a video with 5 tips, very basic concepts for understanding composting, making sure your pile is doing what it's supposed to do, and making sure you're on the right track. Okay, and finally, shameless composting promotion here. You do have a pile, you're not happy with it, it hasn't progressed the way you want, you're ready to start over. And I say, amen. I start a new pile every fall, and I made a video last weekend about how I do that, how I sort out the compost, whether it's finished, partially finished, unfinished, what I do with it in order to clear out my compost bin so I can start a fresh pile with fall leaves and pumpkins. Plus, linked down below in the description is a free printable that has greens and browns, frequently asked questions, and a few things to avoid if you are a beginner to this whole composting thing. Okay, so I have to know, do you already compost any of these things that I mentioned today? Or maybe even something a little more interesting? And please don't tell me anything that has to do with a composting toilet. But please tell us down below in the comments what you have found to compost that maybe some of us aren't already doing. It would be great to know. Remember to subscribe, the red button. Once you hit subscribe, you can also click the bell to get notified when a new video uploads, which is usually on Sundays. Like this video, thumbs up, and of course, share it with anybody who you know appreciates or wants to learn more about composting. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.